Alrighty, folks, just want to give a big congratulations to all of my chairman members, because chairman members cashed in on 6 different premium selections yesterday on my premium site. We had the Nuggets, Knicks, TCU in men's basketball, Pitt, Nebraska, and the Edmonton Oilers in the NHL. And the only way you could have accessed all of those winners is to join my full access, all-inclusive chairman package. Chairman members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on the free video and what I do on my premium site. Well, what I do here on the free video is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side, and total. What I do on my premium side is, well, I actually share with you which one of these free plays I actually like the best. Now, if you don't need, access to every single premium selection of mine, but maybe you could use like one a day, you could sign up for my $1.99 daily best play. It gives you one premium selection of mine every single day for the next 30 days. The math works out to be just 6 cents a day. I'm 3-0 my last 3 daily best plays, 8-1 with a push in my last 10 college basketball tier package picks. And finally, folks, I'm 3-0 my last 3 NHL tier package picks. And the good news is I have plays going off in all of those memberships here today, and all of those packages are included with your purchase of the chairman membership. The site is patreon.com/Brock Page. And with that, folks, we are going to dive into some free content. We'll start off with a really good game. Hornets, Pistons, 7 o'clock East. Detroit's -3.5, totals 234. And I'll tell you this much, under no condition can I lay any amount of points with Detroit. They're 4-39 overall for the year, and they're giving up over 123 points a game. And they're taking on a Charlotte club who does score a lot of points late in games. I realize that record is not great, but the Hornets are a top 5 fourth quarter scoring team in the entire NBA. LaMelo Ball scores 24 points a game and averages over 8 assists per night. And Miles Bridges scores over 20.5 points a game himself. And I'll tell you what, in their last 10 contests with the Pistons, the Hornets have been solid on offense. They average nearly 120 points a game in those gatherings. So if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. Now, injury-wise, Martin and Richards are questionable. Lowry, Hayward, and Williams are still out. Meanwhile, for the Pistons on the other side, Morris and Cunningham are questionable for them. The Pistons saw unders recently against the likes of Milwaukee, Houston, and San Antonio. And out of Charlotte's last 10 ball games, the under cashed in 60% of those contests. Give me Charlotte +3.5, under 234. Next game, T-Wolves, Wizards, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Minnesota's -12, totals 230. And for a team laying a dozen points in this spot here, the T-Wolves have had some issues covering the point spread. They failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4 ball games. Failures to cover against the likes of Charlotte, OKC, and Detroit. And as tough as they are defensively, the T-Wolves really are not explosive on offense. They're a bottom 5 point producing team in the fourth quarter. Shake Milton makes just 25% of his 3-pointers. Nick Alexander-Walker shoots just 42% from the field. And they're facing a Washington team on the other side who does like to score points late. They're a top 10 second-half scoring team. Kyle Kuzma averages over 21.5 points a game. Tyus Jones is making over 42% of his 3-pointers. Of course, as a team, the Wizards are in the top 5 in the East in field goals made per contest. Now, injury-wise, Jalen Clark is out for the T-Wolves. And when it comes to the total, Minnesota saw unders in 5 out of their last 9. Unders against the likes of OKC, the Clippers, and Blazers. Meanwhile, Washington went 6-3 to the under in their last 9 themselves. Give me Washington +12, under 230. Next game, Grizzlies, Heat, 7:30 East. Miami's -10, totals 213. And for a team laying a double-digit points in this spot here, Miami struggled covering the point spread recently. They failed to cover in their last 4 straight. They're also covering in just 40% of their home games for the entire year. And a lot of that is due to some poor offensive production. The Heat's currently in the bottom 3 in the league in field goals made per game. They're also anemic offensively in the final 12 minutes. These guys average fewer fourth quarter points than any other roster except for one. And unfortunately for them, they're facing arguably the toughest defensive team in the league late. The Grizzlies give up fewer fourth quarter points than any other franchise except for one. Xavier Tillman leads the active roster in steals per game. Jaren Jackson's the club leader in blocks. Now injury-wise, Rose, Smart, Clark, Bane, LaRavia, and Aldama, they are all out for the Grizzlies. Highsmith and Jacquez are questionable for the Heat. When it comes to the total, Miami's last 6 straight all stayed under the number. They're also 67% to the under in their out-of-conference ball games. Now, Memphis on the other side, they saw unders against the likes of Toronto, Golden State, and New York. Give me Memphis plus 10, under 213. Next contest, Cavs, Bucks, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Milwaukee's -7, totals 235.5. And for a team laying a couple of baskets in this spot here, the Bucks have been terrible covering the point spread. They failed to cover in their last 5 straight. They went just 1-9 against the number in their last 10. And out of 14 contests against divisional opponents, Milwaukee covered the number in just 21% of those games. Now they're facing a red-hot Cleveland squad who refuses to lose. These guys are on an 8-game winning streak, and they covered the point spread in all of those victories except for one. And a lot of that is due to some stifling defensive play. These guys allow fewer points a game on the road than any other franchise except for one. Jared Allen leads the active roster in blocks and rebounds. Donovan Mitchell's got the most steals. Now, D. Mitch is also averaging a team-high 27 points a night on offense. When it comes to the injury list, Thompson, Garland, Mobley, and Jerome are inactive for Cleveland. Karis LeVert is questionable. Meanwhile, for the Bucks on the other side, Giannis Antetokounmpo is questionable with a shoulder. 4 out of the Bucks' last 7 ball games did get over the total. 15-8 to the over in the Fiserv. Meanwhile, Cleveland saw overs recently against the likes of Orlando, San Antonio, and Toronto. Give me the Cavaliers +7, over 235.5. Next matchup, Blazers-Rockets, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Houston is -9, totals 222. Now, the Rockets are 16-7 in the Toyota Center. They covered the point spread in 70% of those home games. And a lot of that is due to some solid defensive effort. These guys allowed just 107 points per game in their own building. They also lead the entire NBA in defensive three-point percentage at home. They're facing a Portland squad who's been consistently bad on offense this year. These guys average fewer points a game than any other team in the league. And conversely, these guys are also dead last in shooting from the field. Now, injury-wise, Moses Brown is still out for Portland. Shaedon Sharpe is day-to-day. Meanwhile, for Houston on the other side, Bullock and Green are questionable for them. Eason is still inactive. Now, the Rockets saw unders recently against the likes of Boston, New York, and Detroit. They're also 10-5 to the under in their in-conference home games. Now, to Portland's last 8 contests, the under cashed in all of those besides 2. Give me the Rockets -9, under 222. Next game, Suns, Mavs, 8:30 p.m. East. Phoenix is -1.5, totals 240. Now, the Suns won their last 6 straight, and they've been very good underneath the basket. These guys are a top 5 offensive rebounding team on the road in the West. And even more impressive, well, the Suns are in the top 3 in the entire league in defensive boards per game. Yusuf Nurkic averages nearly 11 rebounds per contest, 50% shooting from the field. When it comes to offensive production, Kevin Durant scoring a team-high 29.6 points per night. And they're going up against one of the worst rebounding teams in the Western Conference in Dallas. The Mavs are in the bottom 5 in the West in the Mavs are in the bottom 5 in the West in offensive boards per game. Meanwhile, on the defensive side, it's even worse than that. These guys are in the bottom 3 in the entire league in defensive boards per contest. Now, injury-wise, Curry, Exum, Doncic, and Irving are questionable with injuries. Meanwhile, for Phoenix on the other side, Lee and Ball are still out. Gordon's questionable. The Suns saw overs recently against the likes of Portland, the Clippers, and the Grizzlies. Meanwhile, Dallas saw the over cash in a dozen games in their own building. Give me the Suns -1.5, over 240. Next contest, Thunder, Spurs, 9:30 p.m. East. OKC's -6.5, totals 241. Now, OKC's on a 3-game winning streak, and they got the W in 7 out of their last 9. When it comes to offensive production, this is arguably the best shooting team in the Western Conference. They're making nearly 51% of their attempts from the field. They also have a higher offensive three-point percentage than any other organization except for one. Aaron Wiggins makes over 51% of his 3 balls. Jalen Williams shoots 45% from long range himself. And of course, the team's leading points getter, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's averaging a team-high 31 points a game. Now, they're facing a San Antonio squad who lost 5 out of their last 6. And they're having a tough time getting the W at home. Out of 19 contests in the Frost Bank Center, the Spurs got the W in just 15% of those games. And a big problem has been defensive play. These guys are allowing over 123 points a night in front of their own fans. They're also second to last in the league in defensive boards per contest. Now, injury-wise, Trey Jones is questionable. Sidi Sissoko's out. Meanwhile, for OKC, Olivier Sarr is day-to-day with a hip injury. OKC saw overs recently against the likes of the Jazz, Clippers, and Heat. Meanwhile, San Antonio's 14-5 to the over in front of their own crowd. Give me OKC -6.5, over 241. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into our next and final breakdown for the video. It's going to be in that Hawks-Warriors game, and that is going to be a 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Golden State's -7, totals 233. Now, the Warriors have fared pretty well against their Eastern Conference opponents this year. They got the W in 5 out of their last 8 out-of-conference home games. When it comes to shooting the three-pointer, not a lot of teams do it better than these guys. The Warriors are making 15 3-balls a game. They're in the top 3 in the West in that category. And even in the instances where they do miss those shots, the Warriors do a nice job getting it right back. They're a top 5 offensive rebounding team in the NBA. Kevon Looney snags over 7 rebounds a night. Steph Curry grabs a handful of boards per game. Now, Curry's also the team's leading points getter, and he drills 40% of his long balls. Now, injury-wise, Paul, Payton, and Moody are still out for the Warriors. Meanwhile, for the Hawks, Young, Matthews, Krejci, and Hunter are still out for them. Bruno Fernando's questionable. When it comes to the total, the Hawks have seen 64% of their contests against the Western Conference get over the line. Meanwhile, the Warriors are 14-8 to the over in the Chase Center. Give me Golden State -7, over 233. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Give me the Hornets +3.5, under 234. Washington +12, under 230. Memphis Grizzlies +10, under 213. I'm 8-1 with a push on my last 10 college basketball tier package picks on my premium site. Cleveland +7, over 235.5. Houston -9, under 222. Phoenix Suns -1.5, over 240. Thunder -6.5, over 241. With my next and final free pick, give me the Warriors -7, over 233. With that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium site. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman Package It's a full access, all-inclusive membership. It gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/RockPage.